Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net. This is your look ahead on Saturday the 12th of July. Well, lots going on over the coming week. Looks like a slow deterioration into more unsettled conditions at the end of this week, although question mark over how quickly that actually happens. And also now getting lots of questions from you about what happens at the end of the month and the early part of August, because it does seem like there's an improvement taking shape there. And we've been telling private clients now for some time that we thought that we would go unsettled somewhere around about the 21st-ish, and then we'd hold on to that more unsettled weather until the end of the month, although it probably wouldn't affect the whole of the country with a ridge building across more southern areas. And that's where the CFS seems to be taking us today, and also the other long ranges as well. But some interesting stuff to show you, particularly with the sea surface temperature. So let's kick off with that today. So these were sea surface temperatures then on the 26th of June, and notice just how warm it is, really just straight through the UK, Mediterranean out into the middle part of the Atlantic. But what I also want you to take notice of as well is that cold area, look here, that was off Newfoundland. Now, as we knock the chart on, watch what happens to that area. Because by the temperature taken on the 3rd of July, that cold pool, look, has slipped into the middle part of the Atlantic. We've still got this cold water around the British Isles and out into the Atlantic. But notice it's still warm, and in fact very warm west of Ireland. But we're starting to lose a little bit of the intensity of that heat. And by the latest charts from the 10th, which of course was last Thursday, you notice that although we've still got temperatures well above normal across here, look, actually it's not quite so warm as it once was, and our little cold pool, despite warming through a little bit, is still showing in the middle part of the Atlantic. Now, these sort of temperatures become important, or this profile of temperatures becomes important when we get troughs moving across in the upper atmosphere, because it can have an impact as to how things develop. Because if you put cold air from a trough, perhaps a tongue of cold air, something like that, down over the warm seas, then what it can do is lead to much instability, which generates heavy showers. But if you've got a trough going over colder water such as that, then you don't have quite so much instability, and so the precipitation intensity is less. So it's going to be interesting to see how this develops over the coming weeks, because if we do start to lose this temperature from the UK coast, then we start to lose the threat of intense showers and precipitation, which actually, I've got to be honest, is still there at the moment. If we do get more unsettled weather coming through, putting cooler air over the top of those warm seas would lead to the potential for some torrential outbreaks of rain. But of course we're not at that stage just yet. Incidentally, notice the warm air coming off, the warm water coming off the coast of the central and southern parts of the states here, of the America here, moving out into the Pacific Ocean, looking for the start of what it is, the El Nino there, but it's not exactly forming into the super El Nino that was predicted. So quick whiz through this week's charts. This is today. Look, here's the front coming into the west, producing the outbreaks of rain out in western areas, and I think some pretty hefty outbreaks of rain moving east tonight, although they will be quite showery. It could be 1 or 2 thunderstorms down eastern coasts. Still a risk of some thunderstorms down the eastern coast on Sunday, but dry weather coming into the west. Quite a fine day, I think, through western areas. Monday sees this front sweeping northeastwards through Ireland and western Scotland, bringing cloud and some outbreaks of rain here, but many eastern and southern areas dry with some hazy spells of sunshine. Tuesday's always been a bit of a tricky one. I think across Ireland and western Scotland we find some outbreaks of rain, but elsewhere it is generally dry. But I wouldn't rule out the risk of a shower Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday shows the potential for a little bit of light rain and cloud within that sort of area. I don't think too much. I think Ireland see most of it. Elsewhere it's a case of sunny spells, largely dry. 28 degrees is possible across southern parts of England, but cooler in Scotland at 18. And then on Thursday, still showing signs of a breakdown, with the thunderstorms spreading northwards out of France as an area of low pressure moves north. In fact, it's not the storms moving northwards out of France, it's the low pressure coming in that then generates the storms. Chopping and changing as to where these storms could be, but I think we've got to be on thunderstorm watch really across the whole of England and Wales. Just 1 or 2 showers for northern and western Scotland, otherwise dry and fine across much of Northern Ireland and also Scotland through Thursday. And much of the precipitation in the back end of the week as well. Now, Western Scotland, yes, sees it through the week. Here we are with 30 to 50 millimetres of rain. This is the rainfall total going up to the middle part of Thursday. But you notice very little elsewhere apart from these bits down eastern coast, which are caused by the thunderstorms on Sunday. But then look at this. This is the rainfall chart ending next Saturday the 19th. Total rainfall. And you can see here, look, this whole area filled in basically because of storms, and 20 to 40 mil of rain here. Incidentally, look at the intensity of precipitation across Western Scotland too, 70 millimetres plus here. That's not to say it's going to be a washout week. There's no way it is. As I say, it's all really loaded into the back end of the week, which then takes us into a more unsettled weekend. MGO, I was showing you this one yesterday as well, and the MGO really picking up on the idea of getting into phase 6 during the latter stages of this month, a proper phase 6, probably around about the 26th before it gets into phase 6, then slipping into phase 7 as we head into the early part of August. So this is around about the 31st of July even, and then coming into phase 8 around about the 6th of August. So this is how they look. So that's a July phase 6, trough out to the west, look, trough out in the east. We've got a slack pressure flow through the UK, but on a southerly flow, and most rain out towards the west, more unsettled conditions out towards the west of the country, high pressure up towards the north, and a fairly slack pressure flow, so this kind of swings it both ways. I don't really think it's going to go into anything particularly too wet given phase 6. This was phase 7, and we saw that coming in the end of the month with the higher than normal heights to the east, lower than normal towards the west. We're getting that sort of flow coming in, and what that does is brings more unsettled weather across sort of southern and western Ireland, risk of some thundery showers to southwest England, but for much of the rest of England and Wales and Scotland, it's a generally drier look to things, and this is where I've been taking you towards the end of the month, early part of August, remember, with this improvement in conditions. And then phase 8 tends to lead into higher than normal heights, so tends to build high pressure, really elongates it across the Atlantic, across the British Isles, puts lower than normal heights down towards the southwest, and gives some pretty rough weather across the western parts of Portugal and Spain, and also across parts of southeastern Europe, but improves conditions through the UK. So this is this idea of the end of the month, the early part of August, seeing an improvement taking place. But it's still early days, but this is how the CFS sees it. Week 1, which is the coming week, higher than normal heights towards the east. There's our little low, look out towards the west. So we've got a ridge here, we've got a trough that's stuck in here, and that's our more unsettled conditions coming through during this week. It sees week 2, so next week from the 19th through to the 25th, puts this big trough down, look, towards the west of the country. And I think that probably looks okay. So hinting at these more unsettling conditions, low pressure stuck in here, more unsettled for all, with sort of outbreaks of rain at times, but a relatively mild south or southwesterly flow. Interestingly, southeastern parts of the country on this pattern do tend to be drier. And in fact, this is what the CFS predicts for precipitation anomalies. This is week 1. Look, it's got drier than normal across Scotland, wetter than normal across England and Wales. Week 2 looks like this, with drier than normal central and southern parts of England, near normal rainfall elsewhere, and that probably stacks up quite well. Temperature-wise, week 1, well above normal. Week 2, well above normal for the time of year. So it sticks with this warmer theme. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This is end of the month. This is week 3, 26th of July to the 1st of August. And look, higher than normal heights, centre to the north of the country. That's an area of high pressure. So we've got a trough out here in the Atlantic. We've got a building high through here, trough out towards the east. So what it's seeing here is right at the end of the month, building in that high pressure, saying, look, that this is going to be sat over the top of us. And then it takes us into week 4 with the high slipping away out towards the east, a trough developing, the high slipping off towards the west, low developing off towards the east with that trough. So we've got the ridge in here, we've got the trough in here. So it does tend to break it down. So this is this idea of any improvement not lasting for long, perhaps for 5 days at the most, and then a breakdown of coming in from the east. So this would bring us, I mean, I'm working on these dates at the moment, 28th of July, probably through until around the 4th or the 5th of August as being potential for a better spell of weather coming in. Temperature anomalies looking like this. Look, warmer through the UK during week 3, down to nearer normal or even cooler than normal in week 4 as that cooler air comes in with that low. Near to below normal rainfall in week 3, and it was pretty similar through week 4, but I actually think that's going to be wetter than is suggested on there. And just to reiterate that point again, this is week 2 CFS, week 3, week 4, and week 5 rainfall. You see week 2, which is the 19th, well the 18th to the 25th, look, rainfall across the country. But look, during week 3, this is rainfall ending week 3, you see how much drier it is across all areas, just far northwest of Scotland, picking up some rain later on in the week. Week 4, again, the south stays in the dry conditions, but look, you see it turning damper from the north, and then week 5, all areas going into damper conditions as high pressure builds back in towards the north of the country. And if the story holds, I'll be quite pleased, really, because, as I say, private clients have been being advised about this for some time and have made preparations for it. And very interesting to see some of the actions that are taken on the forecasts that we make. You can become a private client too. Just get in touch. I mean, we service all people from sort of individual farmers or traders, right the way through to large multinational companies. So if you want further information about that, please do get in touch. But for now, thanks again for watching weatherweb.net, and whatever you're doing, have a great day and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.